Epilogue, double-sized issue, everything beautiful in its time, and sins of the mother. Cassandra stared, frustrated, at an easel before her as she struggled to blend watercolor paints together. She'd never done so much as finger paint when she was younger, and while she could keep steady hands in combat, holding a brush for fine strokes felt much harder. Other young painters surrounded her, and an instructor at the front of the room gave directions. And, once in a while, the scars along her palms from the fight with the Seraphim flared up again. Sadie leaned over from her own easel and spoke quietly so as not to interrupt the instructor. "How you doing?" She uttered an exhale. "I suck." "No, you do not. You're just new at this. Nobody's ever great at anything automatically." Cassandra looked back and forth between the sloppy, vague impression of a stream and foliage she'd painted, the far more elaborate one the instructor worked on at the front of the room, and Sadie's piece dotted with little embellishments. She was certain there was a time in her life when she didn't know how to beat someone senseless, but she couldn't remember it. Just after the events of that brutal Christmas past, Cassandra practically blurted out to Stephanie, "I have a date. With Sadie." Stephanie's eyes went wide for a moment. "What?" Then she scoffed and laughed. "I knew it! That college boyfriend story was the lamest lie she's ever told." "She's your friend. Should I have asked you first?" "What? No, you're fine," Stephanie said. "She's cool. You two were getting along fine already. If you can make this work out, you'd be great girlfriends." That made little happy butterflies dance around in Cassandra's stomach, but the feeling passed as quick as it came. "Want that, but don't know how to be a girlfriend." With her legs still healing from the fight with Jason, Stephanie threw all of her energy she wasn't spending on superheroics into helping Cassandra prepare. It was Stephanie who discovered the Crown Arts Center hosted monthly lattes and landscape hours on Saturday. Then it was Stephanie who coached her through the ensuing phone call and helped her comb through her closets for a decent outfit. At one point in the process, Cassandra joked, "Sure you don't want to be dating her?" "Oh, shut up," Stephanie said. "I take vicarious joy in my friend's happiness. Reading the Bible with you didn't make me want to convert, it just made me glad that you were glad." So an outfit of a white dress over black leggings and a blue winter coat was picked out, and Sadie was invited out for drinks and a painting lesson, which she practically squealed over on the phone. But as Cassandra sipped tea with her free hand, she continued to struggle with just how much she enjoyed being there. "Here, let me help." At least she did until Sadie took her painting hand in her own and gently guided it along the page. "You don't have to be an expert. You just have to know when to be soft." Cassandra's face went red. "You're soft." Sadie smirked. "Your hands. They're very soft. And warm. Like the feel of them." "Yeah? Good." She ran a thumb along the back of Cassandra's hand. "You said you box?" "Boxing, martial arts, those things." Cassandra looked down as Sadie kept guiding her hand up and down with gentle strokes to form a set of treetops. "Sorry mine feel like that." "Are you kidding? They're like your hugs. A little tight, a little tough, but they feel good. They make me feel safe." Cassandra smiled and then looked to Sadie's easel. "You're falling behind. Do you want me to let go of your hand?" The question made her feel warm. "No." "Good," she said, "because I can paint landscapes like this any time I want. Getting to paint them with a cute girl next to me is a real treat." Their eyes met. Cassandra could swear she could hear Sadie's heart beating as hard and fast as hers. As Sadie continued to lead her hand, Cassandra leaned forward and laid the quickest, tiniest peck on her lips. As if she couldn't help herself, Sadie let out a bark of laughter loud enough to get a few of the other painters in the room scowling as they looked in her direction. Embarrassed and terrified she'd done wrong, Cassandra looked away with bright red cheeks. "Wait, crap, I'm sorry." Sadie brought her voice down to a hush whisper. "I wasn't trying to take the wind out of your sails, Cassie. Cassandra didn't look back as Sadie gently caressed her hand. "Really wanted to do that, but never did that before." "Wait, really? With anyone?" It wasn't the whole truth, but it was close enough. "No." A stunned silence stretched between the two women for a second as the instructor told them how to dot the creek with flowers and lily pads. By that point, neither listened. After the long seconds of silence passed, Sadie used her free hand to curl a finger around Cassandra's necklace. "Privacy's at a premium in here, but get down. I want this to just be you and me." Cassandra didn't totally understand, but bent down as instructed. Just as she realized the easel obscured the rest of the class's direct view of them, Sadie cupped her cheeks, leaned in, and returned the kiss. Cassandra wasn't ready for the speed, the length, or the wholeness in the action. For an instant, she wasn't even sure she liked it. But, as her body shifted from tense to welcoming, and a pleasant rush ran through her, she realized she did, and she melted. The two sat in the museum's main lobby after the class let out, with two mostly completed paintings in tow. Neither let go of the other's hands for more than a second at a time, and as they looked out on the chilly Gotham afternoon outside, Sadie kept asking questions. "So, what's your favorite color?" Cassandra looked down, bashful and unprepared. "Don't know if I have one." "Oh, come on. Everyone's got a favorite color." Stephanie hadn't prepared her for anything like this, though one of her other suggestions might help. "Yours?" "Green. A light, wispy shade of green." Sadie smirked. "Now you have to answer." Despite her struggle, such a mundane question did make Cassandra smile. "Yellow? Goldish yellow, maybe." It was the only part of her old Batgirl uniform that wasn't black, and that seemed like a good enough reason. "All right, cool. Least?" A little shudder ran through Cassandra. "Pink. I like pink okay. I tried to hate it when I was younger, but I was just trying to be rebellious. Pink is... I don't really want to talk about it." Their pleasant conversation was suddenly interrupted with a flash through Cassandra's mind of a reddened pink dress she'd known one night, long ago. Sadie raised a hand. "Okay, totally okay. No problem." For a couple seconds, an uneasy quiet passed between them. Then Sadie squeezed Cassandra's hand again. "When's your birthday?" "The 26th. "Whoa, this month? Are you doing anything for it?" "Didn't have any plans. Just be with Steph and Tim, probably." Upon realizing she enjoyed the squeeze in her hand when Sadie did it to calm her down, Cassandra did so back. "You too, if you want." "Absolutely. I'll get a hold of Steph so we can throw you a big surprise party or something." With her head down, Cassandra laughed. "Don't. And now I know. Won't be a surprise." "Well, unless you tell me you really mean it, I'm going to do it anyway." Somehow I get the impression no one's ever thrown you a really big, great surprise birthday party before. A little giggle bubbled up from Cassandra, and, in spite of her best efforts, she didn't say anything to object. Silence passed between them as Sadie scooched in a little closer and rested her head on Cassandra's shoulder. Both felt contented. "I know Peter's coming to pick me up here soon." Sadie let out a little sigh. One more question, if that'd be okay." Cassandra sensed the way Sadie tensed up a little. "Yes?" She dragged out a longer sigh. "You told me that even if it's a recent development, your religion is important to you. And I'm not against that. I think people should live however makes sense to them." With another inhale, she blew a breath up at her face. "But, you know, I'm gay, and if we do this, you're gonna be in a gay relationship. Are you sure that's gonna be okay?" Finally, this was something Stephanie had prepared her for. "My God says we need to love each other. My God said I was made the right way." She laid another tiny peck on Sadie's forehead. "Don't think I have to figure out both right now, but if I do, someday, I will. Starting classes, will be confirmed, but want to be with you too." The answer seemed to put a little smile back on Sadie's face. "If we're still together when you need to figure all that out, I promise I'll help you do it." Cassandra squeezed Sadie's hand one more time and said, "Like this. Want to do it again soon." "So do I. I had a great time." With a triumphant grin, she said, "Can I say I had a great time with my new girlfriend?" "Yes." They shared a last embrace and a last kiss before, with their canvases tucked under their arms, they departed for the evening. As she relaxed in the heat of the ride home with Alfred, Cassandra reflected back on the last few weeks. With her secret known to Monsignor Ryan, he managed to streamline the RCIA program so she could have it complete by that Easter. Though the journey would not be long, it may prove hard-fought. But when the day arrived, her family would be there to see her accept her rites and her first communion, which Tim maintained would taste terrible. Dick had left town again on his own business, and Cassandra prayed for him while he was away. Tim came along with her to Mass nearly every week since the new year started. He admitted it wasn't easy, but it was good to go back. Both Barbara and Bruce said time and again how proud they were of her, for all that she'd fought for and all the choices she made, even if they were not their own. Ironically, perhaps most comforting of all was that nothing had changed between her and Stephanie, save for occasional askings to assure one another of answers they already knew. And then there was Sadie, the girl who remained by her in the hospital despite their brief experiences together, and helped her escape when she was needed elsewhere. She carried a lot of baggage, had still been reserved at times, but she'd quickly grown more comfortable on others. She was counting down the days before her birthday arrived, and her cousin Peter, who likes me for me, would see that she was taken care of for good. Sadie seemed to be doing much better herself. It was that sense of humility that endeared Cassandra to her in the first place. And kissing. She determined, if she'd been in the right frame of mind, maybe she really would have enjoyed that first kiss she shared with Connor Kent back in Smallville. Because being in the right frame of mind when she and Sadie kissed the first time felt like puzzle pieces sliding into place. At church, her relationship remained a silent affair. One even Tim, as encouraging as he'd been on both fronts, said she shouldn't try to tackle yet. For the time being, Cassandra just remembered Bruce's words from Christmas Eve, that she had the rest of her life to figure things out. Maybe one day there wouldn't need to be such a divide anymore. She had to keep praying. She jumped a little when her silence was interrupted by a buzzing in her pocket. She slipped out the cell phone she barely knew how to operate, and answered, "Hello?" "Hey, lovebird, you back at the manor yet?" Stephanie asked. "Just arrived." "Yeah, good. I've got news for you. It's her. She's definitely in town." Cassandra froze. "Are you sure?" "Batman just ran fingerprints on one of the knives. She's here, Cassie, and she might even be heading for you." Cassandra's eyes turned first toward the manor, and then toward the gardens. She wondered what was about to take place before she said, "I will be ready." "50 minutes later, Cassandra emerged from the front door, pulled on a domino mask, and walked toward the fountain in front of the mansion. Soon after, she noticed a small but enlarging puff of smoke coming out from its bubbling waters. Angel took a few steps backwards and laid a hand on her sword. "Know you're there." "I'd be far more disappointed if you didn't," the voice came from the smoke. Over the last 2 weeks, the police recorded 6 murders among numerous members of Gotham's crime families. No bullets, no poison, some didn't even bear slash marks. Stephanie barely needed to say anything. The opposition had come to the courtyard. "You know, my confidant wanted to know if I'd be interested in taking a few jobs here a few months back." A pair of black leather boots stepped out of the smoke, leading to tight-covered legs of the same color. "Seemed odd at first. Someone named Mr. White wanted me to try and kill other assassins. Said he didn't want the crazy cult slowly overtaking the city to be disassembled so soon." "That was our doing," Angel said. "Perhaps." The speaker stepped out of the shadows and revealed a devilish smile. "I'd have come too, but I was busy with some business back in Istanbul. 2 rich warring families. Their blood feud goes back generations. I played for both teams. The Badars paid for the plane ticket back here. The Nazif bought me some new boots." Above all else, the most terrifying aspect of Lady Shiva had always been her confidence. Everything from the faces she made to her calm, unnervingly collected stride suggested she would never enter a battle she didn't already know she would win. "Maybe you don't remember, but you let me live after I asked you to leave me to die," Shiva said, "and you finally beat me. But I've been wondering for a while if I should really count it. Do you recall how Lazarus pits function, Cassandra? They save the dying, but they'll kill the living. I wonder if you didn't simply come back strong. If that wasn't the only reason you defeated me like you did. We'll see. But I had to get a look at this disaster first." Shiva gestured toward her outfit. "The daughter of 2 of the world's premier assassins, dressing up in a half-complete Batman costume, and pretending to be some kind of angel. Will be one if that's what Gotham needs." Angel tightened her grip on her sword. "Oh, of course you will," Shiva's tone continued to mock. "I thought you were a great warrior. Thought you would come to see no master but yourself. Not your father, not Batman, no one. But now you bow to the greatest illusion of them all. I know you've felt someone die. I know you felt the void that waits on the other side. If there ever was a god, he left us to our own devices. Long, long ago. You're wrong. Shiva's hand fell to the handle of the blade latched to her belt. Prove it. In amidst the smoke, the two drew their swords, ran, and clashed. Each held the lock for only a moment before separating and beginning their duel. The two fought as masters, no known equal but one another, mother and daughter, goddess and angel, entangled in a battle foreseen before Cassandra was even born. Their movements were practically superhuman. Both dodged cuts and accepted parries at dizzying speeds, as the smoke billowing out of the fountain continued to obstruct the views of their surroundings. As she sidestepped a slash, Shiva vanished into the growing clouds. Angel searched about and listened for some sign of her. When she turned the wrong way, Angel took a kick to the back and fell to one knee, as Shiva disappeared again. Come on! Your father and I taught you better than that. Have two fathers, Angel said. Neither is David. I should hope you're not about to show me the same disrespect! Shiva's taunt gave away her position. Angel turned and swung her sword. Steel met against steel once again. With that clash, the Elder Master again went silent as they resumed their duel in artificial fog. Every move and every strike Shiva made appeared perfectly choreographed, a far cry from the more brutal, randomized styles of the likes of the Seraphim. Her actions seemed almost devilishly playful. Only periodically did she make shallow slashes in the black of Angel's armor, and draw blood when she seemed to have toyed with her enough for the moment. Shiva continued to mock. You can do better than that, unless your god is holding you back. Though Angel didn't say it aloud, the one thought that passed through her mind was, never. As Shiva again disappeared into the obscuring fog, Angel froze in place, softly closed her eyes, and waited. The courtyard went almost silent for a few seconds, but she heard the beating of feet against grass coming from behind her. With a whirl, Angel swung her blade with enough force to throw Shiva's sword from her hands. The weapon landed in the lawn and allowed her to raise her own weapon to her mother's throat. That's enough! Oh, Cassandra, as if you actually had it in you, Shiva smiled. She knocked the blade from its position with her elbow and thrust a palm into her daughter's face. Angel fell backwards and shouted as the force of the blow cracked enough cartilage to bloody her. As Angel struggled for her stance, Shiva rushed at her with another flurry of punches and kicks. Angel struggled to fight back with her sword, but Shiva forced it from her hands with a rising kick before she delivered a second to her chin. This time, she fell to the ground. You did better last time. Maybe that was all the Lazarus pit. It's still disappointing. You do not know me. Angel pushed back to her feet. Thankfully, the white of her armor absorbed most of the impact from Shiva's attacks, but little protected her face and head from such strikes. Still, she wiped the blood from her nose and took her fighting stance again in a refusal to surrender. You're right. I really don't. Shiva shook her head. As their battle resumed, Angel felt her attack-observing skills pushed to their limit. Shiva always proved one of her few superiors in combat in the past, and she was holding little back. As Angel struggled to keep up, she regained footing enough to block a few of Shiva's kicks, delivered an uppercut thereafter, and finally made her mother stagger. But Shiva's own recovery came quick after that, and the closeness allowed her to kick the side of Angel's head, a strike which brought stars to her eyes. Barely able to make out another kick coming at her, Angel ducked and thrust her elbow into Shiva's back, which forced her off balance in return. Angel raised her foot and drove another kick into the same spot in Shiva's lower back, which finally forced her to the ground. A decent start. Shiva rolled aside and returned to her feet. So then. With a quick strike, Shiva drove 2 fingers into the underarmor of Angel's left shoulder. She grit her teeth as the arm fell limp. The strike was enough to temporarily paralyze her. In a struggle to maintain any kind of edge, Angel grabbed a handful of Shiva's hair and sent her crashing into a knee, then thrust her mother backwards. Shiva's recovery remained quick and masterful. I'll bet you wouldn't have even taken that hit a while back, Shiva said. You don't have the strength to keep up with me anymore. Give me one reason to believe you weren't the worst student I ever had. Shiva raised her hands and made a goading motion at Angel. Do something already! Prove me wrong! Angel clutched her arm and tried to put the dead weight out of her mind. As the fog seemed to finally dissipate, Angel's mind turned to the one thing that could possibly turn the tables. Shiva taught her much, but one thing remained above all the rest. Angel took a sprint toward her mother. Her left arm hung useless as she did. Shiva hardly gave her any mind. But as she prepared to block a strike to the chest, Angel jumped as high as she could force herself, drop-kicked Shiva right in her face, and knocked her to the ground. Laying on her back, Shiva gripped the ground to try and push herself back up. But before she could, Angel took her place overhead, opened her good palm, and let loose a triumphant shout. She thrust her palm into Shiva's chest, and delivered a single, well-placed assault to her heart. For a moment, Shiva's eyes went wide. A small smile came across her face. But a second later it turned to a frown, followed by a wheeze of pain. It took a little longer to elicit a real reaction, but Shiva at last muttered, "I can't move." "I know." Angel's breaths were heavy, but her tone was proud. How many did you kill in an instant? Without warning, with that attack?" "I can't count that high." Shiva struggled and cringed against the dull, throbbing ache that overtook her body. "But it's supposed to be an instant kill." "I know," Angel said. "Spent months practicing, preparing, learning something. A stronger attack spread over a larger area. Much harder to let someone live by that strike. Learned years ago, more difficult can be better. Suited it to my purpose." "Spoken like a real Christian." Shiva uttered another wheeze of pain and tried to force another movement from anywhere in her body, to no avail. "You've sent me into shock. Damn it." Angel brought a hand to her ear. "All clear." Stephanie asked, "Wait, what? Really?" "Yes. I gotta see this. Hang on, I'm down in the cave. I gotta see this. And I've got something for you to see, too." Within a few minutes, the last of the fog cleared. Angel could make out someone else coming out of the manor and headed toward her. "Holy crap, I can't believe it's over already." The surgery was still weeks away, but she'd arrived for measurements, and she could finally show off the results. Opposite Angel, garbed for the first time in a newly updated Batgirl suit, with purple running up the sides, accompanied by the signature black, was Stephanie. She called it various things, from a promotion to an inauguration, but as they talked about, Cassandra gave up her mantle as Batgirl to become Angel, and Stephanie at long last secured a well-earned place alongside the family she fought alongside for so long. Batman escorted Shiva to be handed over to the police shortly thereafter, with the assurance she'd be handled with the utmost attention. Even after she regained the feeling in the rest of her body, she would have no way to escape. Stephanie offered to give Cassandra a ride into the city before she returned home for the night, which Cassandra accepted. "She's a master assassin, you know," Stephanie said. "She'll probably find a way to wiggle out again. If she does, we'll force her back, long as it takes." Cassandra double-checked her uniform and blade were secured in her backpack before she added, "Forgive your enemy not 7 times. 70 times 7 times. "Boy, you really got all this figured out, don't you?" Stephanie said. "I taught you well, my pupil. But I guess I never have to follow up with what I said about teaching you how to talk to boys, huh?" "Might need that someday, but not now," Cassandra smirked. "How is your leg?" "The rest has been good. The doctor said surgery should go smoothly. I'll be ready to kick Scarab or Black Mask or Jason Todd right in the butt in no time." Stephanie pulled into a free parking garage and drove up to its highest floor. From there, she took in the sight of St. Michael's Cathedral across the street. "You did a good job saving that place. It's beautiful." "It's all beautiful." "What, Gotham? Different strokes for different folks, Cassie. I love this city, but it's a complete whole." "No, everything. You, me, Tim, Dad, Sadie, even Shiva. In a way," Cassandra said. "Even she gave me what I needed. She helped me stop that madman. It's all so right." "Well, they say God works in mysterious ways," Stephanie said. "Mysterious can be beautiful, I guess. Tim wants us to take you and Sadie out one of these nights here soon. Make sure she's actually dating material and all that. I keep telling him we went to school together. I keep saying she can be trusted. But he wants to make sure you're protected. I guess he has some strict standards for his dear sister." Stephanie playfully punched Cassandra's arm and the two laughed. "You sure you still want to go out tonight? I know you have church in the morning. Yes, Before Cassandra could finish her thought, there came a scream, a shatter, and the screeching of alarms from a building about a block down the road. Both glared in its direction, and, with a mutual nod, Cassandra started to pull her uniform on. Seems like God had other plans for you this evening, Cassie, Stephanie said. Cassandra rushed toward the edge of the roof, bounded off, and grappled toward the danger. They can try to ruin my home. They never will. Not as long as I'm here. Not as long as I am Gotham's guardian angel. The end.